he didn't build. I've walked pretty much past a lot of it, and you might have not seen all of it in my video. Just some fellow nuns that I know. Dominus Vobiscum, my fellow Catholic. It's Brees from CatholicFundraiser.net. Shooting a different kind of video today. I just visited the chapel of a recent Carmelite, and who was quite famous last year, and that is, going to read his name, Blessed Father Mary Eugene of the Child of Jesus. And I'm reading that because I know him by his French name, Marie Eugene. So I'm here in the south of France, and that's the chapel that he pretty much lived and prayed, and I visited his room as well. So it's pretty amazing to see the room and the place of someone who's called blessed in the Catholic Church, and quite recent. So, sometimes we read and learn about saints and they've lived 200, 300, and even 500 years ago, or back maybe 1,000 years. But he was quite recent. And why am I sharing this with you on pretty much when I'm really focused on fundraising? Well, I'm really excited about learning about Catholics and who built things, and he built kind of an institute, a Carmelite institute of prayer here in the south of France that has grown. It has about anywhere from like 600 to 800 members, and he's known worldwide. And it's just really incredible to learn, well, how did this one guy build all this? And I learned 3 important lessons from him today, and that was, well, one, 3 lessons that deal with fundraising, and fundraising in the sense of getting things started and getting the resources that are necessary. And one of the things that I learned was he was a man of action. So he even though he was called, he felt the calling to be a priest, at a very young age, at the age of 10. He still fought in World War I. I saw some fantastic pictures of him, dressed in military uniform, and he was a man of action and a man of his time. It reminds me of Saint John Paul II. Went out and understood that he had this vocation to become a priest, to become a man of God, but at the same time, his responsibility for his country, for France. And that really struck me. So he was a man of action, which I think helped him further on with his career as a Carmelite. And second, he was a man of, he wrote a lot, and by writing, a lot of people got to know him. And as a fundraiser, you have to spread the word out of what you're doing. And through writing, he was always telling people, this is what I want to do. I want to be a priest. I want to serve God. And I get the impression that he was constant about that. Everybody knew that that's what he wanted to do. And so much so that the word got out, and he was becoming quite famous in his area, in his region, and in France. And so that's very important in fundraising, because people have to know what you want to do, and you have to inspire people. And the best way to inspire them is to tell them, and to tell them as often as possible. The third lesson that I learned from Blessed Mary Eugene is being open and attentive to the people that God puts in front of you. So, he didn't build. I've walked pretty much past a lot of it, and you might have not seen all of it in my video. Just some fellow nuns that I know. But he built this massive complex that is all the way behind me, and he built it because through obviously the generosity of people, and the way he found these people is God kept putting them in front of him. But in the most random ways, he would have people knock on his door, or somebody would tell him to go visit somebody, and he was always attentive. And I find this very interesting for someone who, was a man of action, and writing a whole bunch, and at the same time being very, being very attentive, listening. Reminds me of St. John of the Cross, St. Teresa Avila, and St. Teresa, the child of Jesus. So all of them were very quiet and calm and listening, but at the same time were ready to respond. So these are three things that I learned from him about building, a movement to learn about the Carmelite spirituality right here in the south of France. And here's another building right behind me. And it's just fantastic to see all of this right in front of me, that this great man was able to do all of this, very, very recent, and we're living in it right now, and it's thanks to his response to God to do something bigger than himself that we can benefit. So I'm really, really grateful that he listened to God, and he acted. He told people what he wanted to do, and he was also listening. So these are three things that I think are quite important in fundraising, and I wanted to share that with you. So make sure to check out, if you're not already subscribed to my YouTube channel, make sure to subscribe, share this video with 3 other Catholics that you know that might find it beneficial. And I'd like to just end, it's very hard to see in this video, but at the very top there's the beautiful town of Venasque, which is a whole other story. It's a beautiful church, beautiful history up there, but there's a lot of Catholicism out here. So anyways, thanks so much for listening, and stay blessed. Bye. Thanks for watching this video on CatholicFundraiser.net. If you liked what you heard and saw, make sure to subscribe to my website. You can just click the link right there as well. Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, which the link is either there or there, but definitely keep in touch.